Finally getting everything back together. I mean, especially for this big push that we're trying to have at this part of the season. So, everybody's back and ready to play.
You had a moment there. It looked like you grabbed your forearm after a sack. Was that worry that it was the same thing again?
Yeah, I mean, because once I landed on it, but it was just like one of them things where the impact from having a person land on it, it wasn't used to that, so it hurt a little bit. But after that, I mean, I played every play after that, and I feel a lot better today.
You had 62 snaps, which was more than a lot of the other starters. Does it take you a little while longer to recover when you play that much?
I mean, right now my body feels good, so I'm happy, that I had a quick recovery this week. But those 62 plays were well worth it, and especially going into overtime, we didn't pull it out like we wanted to. But that sometimes you got to be battle hardened going into the battle to know what it feels like and appreciate what a win is.
What's happened with the defense late the last couple of weeks? You guys have been your defense for 3 quarters, and then at the end it hasn't been.
I think this is a 60-minute game, and guys have to play 60 minutes, all 11 guys, not just 9 or 2 or 4. All 11 guys have to play for 60 minutes, and we really talked about that throughout the meetings that, sometimes you can't take your foot off the pedal in those type games and think that, you have the game won. You have to play, the whole game.
Is there a feeling that since you guys have been so successful in that scenario that somebody's going to end up making that play?
As a defense, we always look at the next man and look at yourself and just say, hey, we have to make the play. And we're not really looking for somebody to spark. The defense is you put it upon yourself and you take that responsibility of going out there and making the play and doing what you need to do.
If Paxton ends up being the guy this week, from a defensive standpoint, what have you seen from him in terms of improvement?
His confidence level. He's always played with great confidence, especially being a younger guy. But we don't put that tag on him anymore as a rookie. He's one of them guys that contributes to the team and plays well if he plays. And all the way through practice, he's been doing well, and he always brings that factor of stringing plays out too. And when he's out there playing, he's that joker out there. You don't know what you're going to get, but you're going to know you're going to get consistency.
A lot of penalties on those last couple of scoring drives. Is that guys getting tired, trying to make a play too much? Anything you can point your finger at to that?
I think you can't take the aggressiveness out of our defense, but you have to play in between the lines. If it's holding, if it's jumping outside, guys just trying to make a play and doing what they need to do. But the thing is, those plays can be detrimental to you too. So you got to make sure you have your hard hat on and playing within regulations.
DeMarcus, I'll go the other way to start games, especially taking an East Coast game, 11 at the early kickoff. Is there anything you can do as a captain, or anything you can tell the guys to just really be ready to go? Because times you were out, it seemed like this team had a really hard time kind of jump starting on the road, especially.
I just just tell the guys, just take the mentality that we've had in practice and take it to the game. I mean, the seriousness, the sense of urgency. You always got to think about how urgent can you be from the first snap all the way to when the game closes. And that's how we have to start games off, being aggressive, making those big plays from, the first play. And that's one thing you always tell the rookies, the younger guys, and everybody just in general, let's start fast like we always do, and let's stay on top.
Marcus, a couple weeks ago, you guys were putting a lot of emphasis on the running defense. You feel like that's improved the last couple games?
I think it has improved, guys being where they need to be, having the right fits, tackling, making big plays, but you have to be consistent week in and week out to make the team one-dimensional so we can, get to the passer when the situation arises. So we've been a lot more consistent, and this is a big team coming in here. They've been running the ball, really well, and so, we have, everything cut out for us, but we have to stop the run regardless.
The position that this team is in is kind of different than years past of having to chase some teams down the stretch. What's kind of the mentality, the approach to trying to win your way back into a playoff position?
We just take it one game at a time. I mean, you can think about the playoffs, but losing a game, that's when you really have problems. So you got to put everything that you have each week into the games that you have, and just see how it pans out and wanting that win result. So we're just looking at the Jaguars right now, and then going in and being ready to play.
Our quarterback has a funky type of throwing delivery, drops it, you take note of that?
We take note of that on defense, especially how much they give the ball up, and so we always make sure as pass rushers, stripping that ball out, working a little bit extra this week. Like you said, he does have a funky ball pattern, but regardless, if you get to the quarterback, you need to always try to get that strip sack and make those big plays.
DeMarcus, you've seen a lot of guys through the years. Do you think Von Miller's a Defensive Player of the Year candidate right now?
Oh yeah, I tell them that all the time, and we talked about it from OTAs, training camp, beginning of the season, all the way to now. I think he's one of those guys where you got to put two guys on him to make to stop him or to slow him down. And I think he's one of those we call it DOY, candidates, and he's playing up to that standard and playing well.
How's he done with all that attention?
He's been cool with it. He's been keeping his composure, and I tell him, you always gotta stay hungry. You gotta keep that bite each and every play, no matter if you have 1 sack, 3 sacks. Just erase the board and saying like you have anything, and always being aggressive and getting out there and playing to make plays.
Is that mentality from him, is that different than it was when you first came to Denver?
I think the focus aspect of how much he wants it, being DOY, but also just being a leader on the team. I mean, he's been that, mature guy and all-around guy. He's been playing really well. And he's also consistent with, Shane, Shaq, making sure that they're right. And that's what, leaders do, not just think about themselves, but relinquish what they do to other guys so they play well too.
Did he make you a little proud with the SWAT down with the 2 hands?
Vaughn is something else. He's always doing something, but he played well last week, and we're gonna need that this week, and me picking it up too, and all the other supporting cast.
How impressed are you with his focus, considering it seems like every Tuesday he's shooting a commercial or doing something? I mean, he keeps himself pretty busy. But.
And I think that's what he needs, keeping himself busy. He doesn't need any dead time. He's one of them guys where he multitasks very well. And so, you let him do what he's been doing, and he's been doing that for a while now and been effective at doing it. But when he's on the football field, that also what matters. He's very focused on the football field, not making mistakes and making big plays that, help us win games.
Have you seen another guy do that, take the kind of the leadership role that he has, and it's actually kind of improved his game? Did that happen with your game when you started kind of sharing your knowledge?
I think when you get mental practice against like other guys, like you telling them what to do, it actually sharpens your toolbox too. So when you're sort of giving out the knowledge or some type of technique, you're practicing it maybe on air, but you're not practicing on somebody, and you get better from that. And so it's like you're practicing twice, throughout the day. So that's how you get better and you get more accurate at what you're doing.
You're tied for 8th, is that right, in sacks? Every time you get a sack, you move up past one of the greats. What's that like for you right now at this stage in your career when all that work is kind of paying off to each little moment is big?
I think you just look at the guys that came before you, how much work that they put in, but now your consistent play each and every year, consistently getting sacks, and now you're up there with those guys, and that's really big. Just a testament of wanting it and being consistent, and it's just great to know that like guys like Strahan or the Reggie Whites or Bruce Smith or Julius Peppers, those guys that are up there right now, your name is etched in stone and etched in history.
Have you seen the pace that Vaughn's on in terms of his per game sack average? I think it's maybe the best all time.
He is playing very, very well, and I told him, man, we were joking with each other. It was like, what, we always say, hey, you play like such and such, or you play like another guy. I'm not gonna call their names, and he's like, they play like me. What are you talking about? So, Vaughn's one of those powerful guys, and I know that if you keep that edge on him going all the time, he's always gonna do what he needs to do.
All right, thanks, DeMarcus.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Marcus.